CT Sports Talent Show. My name is Christopher Saunders, and please have on with me the girls basketball head coach. Coach Kennedy's with me, East Windsor Bloomfield Co-op. And Coach, you're 5-1, and things are going well right now for the co-op. First year, correct, with the co-op, right?
First year with the co-op, third year overall with the Bloomfield program.
Okay. So now that you've been a part of it for a couple years, and I know hence why the co-op, because the numbers have not been fantastic. How are you as far as the coaching aspect? Do you feel like you're just kind of putting yourself in a situation now where you're feeling comfortable, right?
Yeah, I really think like I was brand new to the area, brand new to the school.
Hmm.
So it was kind of weird. It's like, you're trying to sell them a dream, sell them a car, and they're looking like, I don't really know you. So I
Hmm.
don't know if I really want to, go forth and put all this effort into it. And then the wins just were few and far between. So it made it even harder to just kind of recruit and get girls to buy in. But I have two really good seniors, Kyla Smith, Taylor Jackson, that are amazing, do everything, all league players
Hmm.
that I really thought like kids would gravitate to. So that was really a challenge for me to like
Hmm.
really just not have kids kind of like fall in line and really want to be a part of what we were trying to build. Because that's really what we were trying to build from the ground up. Like there was nothing there. So trying to build from the ground up, and I'm high energy guy. Like I'm not no drill sergeant. High energy. Like we're gonna have fun. We're gonna learn, and we're gonna win ball games. But now with this co-op, trying to mold kind of different kids together actually has been easier than I thought, which has really in turn is why our record is what it is right now because we were able to blend day one right off the rip. The CIAC rule, like with the off-season workouts and stuff and practice and stuff, I mean, that helped a lot. So we were able to kind of get the girls, together early, 2 days a week, in the summertime. So that helped a lot. So we kind of hit November running.
That's good though. I mean, again, I've said that the summer workouts being able to have with all of the sports, if it was able to, and the kids were able to get to multiple things, and also too, the coaches were able to work because it's not so much you're trying to work with the kids, it's more so with the coaches because you don't want to step over, the football coach, you don't want to step over the soccer coach, and so on. And also too, the kids also have a decision to make because they can
Yep.
only be in so many places at once. So it becomes a situation if you have a young athlete you know, who plays three sports, right? Now they have to choose. Can I go to football and can I do basketball? And then there's, let's say, outdoor track. Well, may have
Yep.
to pick between two because you can't be at all three. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. You got to really, like, the coaches got to really fine tune and work together, get gym time, because I know a lot of schools were struggling, with gym time. So only so much space to go around, so many hours,
Hmm.
and then not even to mention that nowadays a lot of kids they enjoy their summer break just like, everybody else. So and I really think that with us with East Windsor, it was pretty easy. Just Coach Barry lives, who's the East Windsor coach, he lives right there. He come open the gym right away, so there was really no issue there.
Hmm.
Dean Edwards is the AD at East Windsor. He's amazing, former Farmington AD. He's great, loves his sports. He's all hands on deck. What you need, we'll make it happen. We'll do what we can to get these girls in the gym, get the boys team in the gym, get the track going. So it was really like it was like a perfect storm of just everything, everybody working together.
It's crazy. And when you told me as far as the co-op early on, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I was just so surprised the limited amount of numbers for girls basketball for Bloomfield because I think of, I just saw the football program. I know they didn't play well, but again, numbers are typically very good. They do a lot of winning. The basketball team, typically very good. They do a lot of winning, right? Now,
Yep.
and especially track. Track, I feel like at Bloomfield is like Division 1-esque with the amount of people that go
Yeah.
to the Olympics and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So when I hear about how there was a struggle for girls basketball players to come out, you know, I guess the question I have for you is why do you think that is at the time?
I think it's really hard because now we're having an issue with the middle school as well. Had a couple coaches kind of drop out. So there's instability there, and I
Hmm.
think that shuts a lot of kids off. Like I said, this is my third year. Before me, the coach was there for 2 years. Before that coach, it was just 2 years. Like, so they've been had almost a revolving door of girls basketball. I know they've had some really stellar years in past. Um, but I think the instability of the coaching staff really has kind of turned kids away and just kids, it's hard to have a kid say no to a pretty much a state title in track. Like they walk to open championships. We got our 4x4 team is just amazing. They're all Americans, it's just they do phenomenal job over there. So it's hard for a kid to be like, hey, come play basketball, go 2-18, get beat by 40 every game, or let me run track and I get a state ring. So it's kind of hard for that to happen. The
Hmm.
boys basketball, like you said, numbers wise are phenomenal. They do great numbers. Um, Football obviously, but it's the football team is stability too.
Hmm.
They got Coach Outlaw has been there for a while. So it's just really hard for us to kind of try to build something. That's why I want to make sure I tell my girls like, "Hey, I'm gonna be here. So let's ramp this up. I'm gonna be here. Let's start really building what we could build."
Do you feel like, and again, the success is kind of like it's almost like in baseball where you're as good as your next day's pitcher, right? Momentum is kind of carried through that way. Now, I don't know how this season's going to end. Hopefully, it ends in a very happy situation for you guys under the bright lights of a particular place
Yep.
near the shore. That would be pretty cool down the road. But the point is that as far as looking at it down the road for the next couple years, do you feel like the success, if it can continue, could maybe help with not just the numbers at East Windsor, and if the co-op does continue, but also with Bloomfield as well, as you were stating?
Yeah, I think it could really, really help. Like I said, it's been so we have 5 wins. I've already doubled my win total from last year, matched the win total from 2 years ago. So I think, winning is just gonna help. And the overall just when they see the passion that we play with and like the joy that we play with, I think kids will really like, hey, all right, you know what? There's something to this team. There's something to so let's see it. Let's give it a try. And it's really only going to take one nice little eighth grade class to come on in here and say, "Yep, we're going to stay here. We're going to do something."
Hmm.
And but it takes me to go to the middle school, say, "Hey, this is what we got to do. Like, I'm going to be here. I'm trying to build something. You guys could really do it. We're going to have fun. We're going to win games. I'm
Hmm.
going to teach you guys. I'm going to be there for you. We're going to be a family." And then it just build and one class after another and just try to get everything in one and let's just keep moving forward.
You and I were talking before about some of the success that, former and current Naugatuck guys are doing. Obviously, with John, what he's doing with Naugatuck. You got Coach Wilson, Willie, who's now at Holy Cross, was at Naugatuck for years. You're talking about lifers who have, been able to really build. John has been known as a builder, and he
Yep.
did that at Woodland before he had to take some time. Obviously, Wilson's been or was at Naugatuck for a long, long time, also played at Naugatuck as well, as did John for a couple years before he transferred and went to Trinity Catholic
Yep.
in Stanford. Um, and I know you're not as far as a Bloomfield guy. You're a Valley guy through and through. It
Yep.
runs through the blood.
Oh
But do you
yeah.
feel like you can kind of, not to put pressure on you, but do you feel like you can kind of be that Wilson and Mariano guy at Bloomfield and be the builder? Because you're still young enough. You're not old.
Yeah, I think I can because Bloomfield has just embraced me from day one. They really, a lot of the kids we would talk and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, remember this and this happened a couple years ago." I was like, "I've only been here for 3 years." They're like, "Oh my God, I forgot." Like I just fit in seamlessly thinking I've been there forever,
Hmm.
you know? And that just comes with me just coming in, being myself, being a great person, being trying to be a leader as I can. There's great people out in Bloomfield. Allie B, my athletic director, she's amazing. Allison Borowski, amazing. Brooke Sales, the coach of the boys basketball team, he's amazing. Corey McKeithen, who is the JV coach, assistant coach for the boys, phenomenal. Me and him, I'm kind of like his right hand man now. I'm always talking to him, asking him about stuff. He's got a great basketball mind. His son is finishing up at LaSalle right now, having a great season. Shout out to little Corey. Phenomenal work ethic, that kid. Just it takes a village to really build a program, and with a lot of good people in my corner, I really think I could do it, and I'm not scared of anything. Valley, we don't back down from anything really. We're not scared. Nothing really deters us from anything. So I'm in 10 toes down, and I really think I could really build something, and because I got good people behind me.
How important is it when you look at this season? And I know it's still early, right? It's kind of now, I think of it as three seasons. You have before the winter break and New Year's, and then you have after, and then you have the playoffs. Now
Yep.
you're in season two, really, part two of that. Um, what are some things that you're looking at with this team that you want to make sure can continue? Because there's going to be a game you may lose that you probably shouldn't have because maybe it's 3 games in 4 days, or maybe there's an injury that comes up, or a buzzer beater that's a neck and neck game that maybe the team rose to their occasion, playing better because they're playing it, an excellent team like yourselves. So, what are some things you're looking at?
So right now, I'm really like our next chapter in the season. We got to do a better job of boxing out, giving way too many second chances to these teams. So that's really what I'm focusing on for the next. So we're in game 6. So the next 4 or 5 games, we got to do a better job of that because we got lucky. We played a couple, teams that aren't amazing. We're still giving up second chance opportunities. Now they missed them, but we play a better team they're not going to miss them all the time. So we got to do a better job boxing out, taking care of the ball. That's really our main thing right now. Still too turnover heavy.
Mhm.
Um, but those are my two big things that I kind of harp on every day. We got to get better at those. Numbers are way too high with those. Um, but I think right now our role players, just getting them more comfortable. Because we have, like I said, we have 3 stars and they're gonna be stars. But these role players that we have are phenomenal.
Mhm.
They're doing the dirty work. Can they rise up a little bit more? Hey, listen, it's cool if you make a layup here and there, make a jump shot here and there. Let's go. All right, now you're getting consistent with that. Let's ramp it up a little bit. Now I need 4 points. I need a couple stops. I need some more rebounds. So I think those role players just not getting complacent where our expectations are with these players. I think that is like my big focus too. We gotta keep pushing the envelope because if we just stay where we're at, we're not gonna get any better and we won't be beating the teams in March. We gotta really excel and just jumpstart, you know, our expectations on a lot of what we're doing.
Well, like you said too, with each win that comes by, raises the expectations. And with expectations being raised, then comes, okay, what can I get out of the players that you have? You know what you're going to get out of the three studs, but it's everybody else that now it's like, okay, I need a little bit more out of you. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that's something that can be accomplished, or is it going to
Yeah.
take a lot of time?
I think we could really do it because I think as the season goes on, teams are gonna hone in on what we do. Like we keep the ball kind of within our trio. Listen, if we drive and kick, I don't want you can't think. That's got to be step one, two, put it up. Will it go in all the time? No. But you have to be a threat to shoot that wide open baseline jump shot to help alleviate some of the pressure from these other three.
Mhm.
If we're getting denied, can you bring the ball up? Can we reverse it? Can you initiate the offense a little bit? Let some of these other girls work off the ball to make it easier for them to get a bucket.
Mhm.
I think that is really what we got to do. And and we're our 3 stars are great with our role players. Like they're like they give them the utmost confidence, coaching staff, utmost confidence. Like they're doing a great job of just keeping everybody up, keeping everybody together.
Hmm.
Coach Barry Winter, phenomenal. He's detail oriented. He's doing a fantastic job. He gets our girls ready to go. Does what we're bounce. Hey, we're making simple bounce passes. We got to box out. So we got a great thing going right now.
Hmm.
We just got to keep it up.
I saw your tweet as far as looking at maybe potentially getting some votes for game time. That was you went right after. You basically, and it wasn't a bad way. It was just like, hey, can we get some
Hey,
recognition?
let's get a couple
Yeah.
looks. I need a vote or two. I mean, I will say our one loss was against Ellington. Ellington's very good. Right now they're 2-3, but they lost. Woodstock Academy's a great team. Enfield's a double L school, and Rocky Hill is 5-1. So they lost to three really good teams. But Ellington's a very good school, a very good team. I think you had Coach on the podcast. He came from Newington. He's
Hmm.
now over at Ellington. Great guy. So that's our one loss was against a good team, but I mean we're gonna scrap, we're gonna fight, and I just want to make sure that we're getting our looks, getting hey, let's come over little old East Windsor, see what we got going on over here.
Now, and that's another question I wanted to ask you. So, with the co-op, where are the home games played? Is it at East Windsor?
Yeah, so we're doing pretty much everything's at East Windsor. We do have one home game at Bloomfield the end of January,
Nice,
so we could get Kai and Taylor kind of their nice little send off.
nice.
Um, we kind of we're gonna swap jerseys out sometimes. We'll wear Bloomfield. Right now we're doing mostly East Windsor.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, everything's pretty much at East Windsor. But everything's great. We got a great schedule over there, so I like it. There's not any hiccups really that come into play, so it's
Hmm.
been going smooth.
And also to East Windsor, also because of the co-op, you still a part of the CCC, correct?
No, we're actually in the N
Oh,
Triple C.
you're
So
in the N Triple C.
that
Okay.
was like the main thing because realistically, we wouldn't have really competed in the CCC.
Hmm.
Just it's a gauntlet every week. I our schedule came out and I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know if I could compete in this. Um, and it proved to be very difficult to leave the
Hmm.
CCC for but my argument was, do you want my girls to enjoy their senior year,
Hmm.
or do you want us to just get blasted every week? You just want to win. Like
Hmm.
I want my kids to enjoy what they're doing. I don't want them to get beat by 30 every week just because you want to keep a team in your league.
Hmm.
And I think I talked to, like I said, Dean Edwards, the East Windsor AD, talked to him a lot about these co-ops and how the CIAC kind of navigates through them.
Hmm.
Um, it's you got to jump through 9 hoops to, figure these things out. And I get it, like conference wise, you want to keep everything in your conference. That's why you have conferences. But you have to kind of see where these programs are. Like I said, I mean, I have 7 wins in 2 years at Bloomfield. We're at 5 now. Like, do you want us to just keep getting killed every week? Or do you want actually to have these girls? Because that's another thing. If you're getting going 2-18 every year, I'm not going to be able to build a program. Kids won't show up.
Hmm.
It's just kind of the nature of what like kind of this age is.
Hmm.
Like you kids won't show up. And wouldn't you want like, hey, let's not just have a varsity team, let's try to get JV kids. Like so you gotta kind of I think there's just other simple ways that the CIAC could kind of do things, and I just don't think they do.
Well, it's another factor too when you think about what's good for the goose is good for the gander because if you're able to have success, right, you not only are going to help numbers with East Windsor, but I would also think for Bloomfield, as we talked
Yeah,
about earlier.
yeah.
Now, I don't know what the logistics are. I know for football, it's once you get to a certain number, then obviously you can't co-op. That happened with a team that was a part of the tech with the Northwest United program. Two
Okay.
high numbers now had to separate. What's that like for basketball?
So for basketball, it's six returning players, and incoming freshmen don't count against a
Mhm.
co-op. So if you have more than six returning players, you cannot co-op. And I'm just like, well, if you have six players, four freshmen come in. Now, unless your freshmen are studs, freshmen aren't ready for varsity. And out of those six returning players, how many of those are freshmen
Mm,
that would be sophomores the next year that probably aren't varsity ready? So, I mean, I get like there's got to be a number, but
mhm,
I just don't. I think we're seeing it more and more often where these programs are just drowning and they have no numbers. And it's just very difficult. Now, granted, co-ops are not easy. Like I get the logistics, the travel, the buses, all these things. I
mhm,
get all that. But if you're talking of sure numbers wise and the product you put on the court, on the field,
mhm.
there's something's kind of got to change.
You know, I think when you look at it, and I do agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think when it comes down to it, I think the co-ops, if you can work through not only because you had a situation where this wasn't a co-op, but it kind of is, where with Lakeview in the
Yeah.
Berkshire League, right? Because you
Yep.
had what was it, Litchfield and
And
Wamogo.
Wamogo, yeah.
Yeah, they closed as far as those school districts, and now they're becoming one. So that resulted in a little bit of an ego check for some coaches because then there was either you're going to be the assistant or you're not going to have a job. That
Yeah.
happened with a lot, and it's just the nature of the business. And the same
Yep.
thing for co-ops as well for basketball or football or et cetera, where if you're a head coach, now it's like, okay, well, they, depending on who's putting in the most of whatever resources or whatever, has the pick. And you have to decide, okay, do I want to be a little bit lower tier, quote unquote, but still have an opportunity to coach or be like, all right, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's another part too that I think some people forget. It's not just, okay, we'll combine and we're going to have two head coaches. No, that's not the problem. We have one, just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. It's just, and it's like you said, it's a big ego check. Like it really is with a lot of people. And I think now I'm young enough and early enough in my coaching career where I could take a back seat because I still have a lot to learn.
Hmm.
But my input is I'm right there. But like I said, me with the summer stuff that happened, me and Coach Barry, we're locked in. We are on the point. We see everything the same way. We talk out everything. Hey, coach, what do you think about this? All right, what do you think about that? Boom, boom, boom. And we move forward. Like we're doing a really, really great job. And because we're doing a great job, the team follows suit. Now, if me and Coach Barry were knocking heads, oh, you want to do this? Well, I don't want to do this. I want to play man, or I want to play zone. This offense isn't working. The team's going to be all over the place, discombobulated, and
Hmm.
we're not going to win games.
No.
So it starts at the top, trickles all the way down, and since I think we're all on the same page, the
Mhm.
team just follows right in line.
You know, Coach, I appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun. Before I let you go really quick, I just want to get a comment as far as what's been happening in the Valley, your neck, former neck of the woods. It's a lot more parity this year. Other than Willie's team down at Holy Cross, it's pretty wide open. You had some
Yeah,
some teams win some games that people were like, "Oh, all right." Like you had Watertown beat Seymour, which Seymour was against one of the top teams in the NVL. You had Kennedy fall not just to Woodland but to Watertown as well. You had Wolcott, who had only 2 wins last year, already has surpassed that. They beat a very good Wilby, a young but a good athletic Wilby team. And one thing I'm noticing, these Valley schools are not just taking the punches from the inner city schools, but they're kind of giving it back with full
yeah.
force. I've been impressed by that.
Yeah, I got to see Wilby the other night. Like you said, they're young, but man, Wilby just always just they're scrappy. They're in your face. They're gonna go after it. And but Waterbury Career is the same way. I like Waterbury Career.
Hmm.
Um, it's always in waves, right? Like I remember Torrington was top of the MVL for a while.
Yeah.
Watertown had that nice little crazy run. right before they won the NVL. So it's
Yeah.
just like it's really good to see that all these other like Valley schools are really putting the effort in and putting the pride in. It's like, listen, we're not we're not pushing over anymore. Like we're here.
Hmm.
We could play. So let's go. We're gonna start swinging back. And I think that's awesome because I mean, I like LSU college football, so I'm a little SEC kind of thing. So SEC strong. But like the NVL, let's be NVL strong and get all these teams to do damage in the tournament. Like we're a deep conference for this high school team, and it starts at the top. You got the Holy Cross, Crosby. They're gonna always be up there.
Hmm.
Career, but we can't have the drop off, and like you're saying, like the drop off isn't as big as it has been in years. And that's just awesome to see.
And it's another thing too when again, looking at the teams other than Derby, who's been struggling this year, everybody can win, in my opinion. Like you had Oxford, who played Crosby very well. They
Yeah,
lost, it was a competitive game, right?
yeah,
They play, or maybe it was Wilby. Wilby, they played competitively. It was a lot closer of a game. Oxford, a team that has struggled the last couple of years, but they're finding themselves, right?
yeah,
So it's one of those situations where anybody could realistically win on any given night, even against Holy Cross, who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened.
yeah,
It's not like in past years when Willie was at Naugatuck and they were dominating for a couple years, even during
yeah,
the COVID year before Sacred Heart closed.
yep.
You had Career Academy, who, the last 2 years between them winning the title and then the year previously, it was like, all right, well, let's just put them there because we know that they're going to be there.
Yeah, they beat Bloomfield at Mohegan. I remember that. I was at that game. So, but shout out to Career. I'm just really excited to just really be a part of just the NVL and just constantly see like just good basketball and good coaching too. And that always helps. Like, sometimes with these kids, they don't respond well to certain coaching, certain high, low, left, right, whatever. You get the right guy in that building or girl in that building to just lead these programs, and they take off and they untap certain talent that these kids didn't know they had.
Yeah, that's very
So
true. I agree with you 100% on that. Coach, I appreciate you so much. Best of luck the rest of the way, and hopefully our roads will cross at some point during my broadcasting season.
definitely, we'll get you out to East Windsor. I'll get you a nice little setup. I'll get the booth all ready for you.
Appreciate it, buddy. Hey, that'll wrap things up here in the CT Sports Town Show. So next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. Enjoy, find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.